football game.
Watch him.
Yeah, focus. First and 10, Notre Dame. Oh, this is not going on my CBS highlight reel. I'm never going to get a job off of this one. Matt Perez going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Mac Foster with the stop. All right, it looks like I'm flying so slow in the last 3 minutes of this because Cade has just died here in the booth. As
41. Sometimes I'm shocked how many podcasts we've done, guys. And we got a pretty fresh crew here. Some guys have not been on for a long time. We got one new face as well on the show. So we'll introduce all of them. Welcome back to the Cole Mantell Show, podcast 41. I'll start with the new guy. So Copperlotus, a.k.a. is Quinn Geese. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not a broadcaster anymore.
Close.
Easy. Okay, it's not my job to pronounce names anymore. So Geezy. I'm just gonna call you Copper or Copperlotus probably for this.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't care.
Welcome back to the show, or welcome, I guess, for you the first time. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Tell us a little bit about yourself too. Why not? Just because it's your first appearance, I'll put you on the spot.
My player or just like me?
You? I don't care about your player. Well, I did just beat him, so I guess that's why I don't care.
So I like football, and I really enjoy it. I used to play it, and then it's just a really fun way to bond. So I feel like this is just a way to talk about it.
Maybe I shouldn't start my podcast. What do you think, Travis? With grilling my new guests, just immediately where are you from? What's your home address? No, I'm good. It's
Need your social security, bank routing number,
yes.
card information.
Oh my God! So we got two other ads. Gunn, you've been on the show before, right?
I have.
Yeah. Welcome back. We said we were going to get you on the show ever since I decided to play for your team with my sorry ass quarterback, and now I have. Good week to do it. Good win for UNC. How you doing, Gunn?
I am fantastic. Had to run to the office to get on the show because my internet at home is not working. But other than that, I'm glad to be back on and ready to talk some CFSL.
Glad to have all four of us have audio issues or internet issues before the show because, of course, it wouldn't be a Cole Mantell show with us running 22 minutes late or 20 minutes late. Travis, a.k.a. AD of Penn State, Smitty, TJ, welcome back to the show. Glad to have you.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be able to hop on here and discuss a little bit of CFSL action with everybody.
And the funny thing is, so you're outdoors right now. You got you and Ocala. I'll tell you, it was horrible. Literally, I had lightning strike a car about 100 feet away from me today. That's how bad the thunderstorms were.
A car?
Tampa. Yeah, I was in a parking lot, and the car, 3 cars away, got hit. How's Ocala today? Is it horrible rain?
It was good till about 6 o'clock, and then that's when the storms roll through here.
That's so funny. I live in Florida too.
Well, that's why I just asked you to introduce me. No, go ahead. We're in Florida.
Eustis, a very small town, west of Orlando, I think.
Okay, Orlando. You should get as far away as possible from Orlando, but I'm gonna Google that real quick because
It's
no fucking way, Eustis. So you're 2 minutes away from Apopka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that is really funny because. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit outside of the CFSL here. So I'm a pilot, and I do some pilot training, for becoming a pilot. And one of those places that I do a lot of pilot training is Apopka, Florida. The airport there, right on the lake. That is hilarious. That's one of those, small world kind of things. No one else is going to care about. This is the worst way to start a podcast ever. But, that is absolutely hilarious. I'm like, Eustis, where's that? Oh, it's right next to Apopka. Yeah, I've been to Apopka 30 times. That's great. All right, after the show, Cole. So we'll get back to the CFSL stuff. Welcome back. We're going to talk about the games this week. We got the playoffs next week, obviously. We got Hangout, too. I wanted to start. This was kind of a late addition to the agenda because this came up today, this afternoon. Mike, a.k.a. El Presidente, gave us an announcement a few announcements actually, and I kind of want to get the first. I'm going to get the AD's reaction to this, and then I'll get because Copper, you're a player. I'll get your player reaction to this. I'm sure the ADs have heard some sort of version of this for a while, just because this has been brought up a few times. So the first rule change, and I'm not going to read through the whole announcement, but I'll give you a quick rundown. The 1 minute runoff, basically, where, and I know everyone who sims knows this very well. If you're down by, say, one score or less, maybe 4 points, and there's 1 minute left in the game, and you, the losing team, has the ball, and then you decide, you know what, instead of using my 3 timeouts, I'm just going to run the ball or, not do the right play. We have a
Call
new
6 audibles.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Or I had this, especially at halftime in my Sims, where they'll just try to spike the ball but never get there in time. So
That's the worst, though, is when they call an audible.
Yeah.
They're just going to spike it. It's like, what? You got to change the formation to spike the ball?
Yeah, I don't know. So here's the conditions. A team must be trailing by at least 1 point. So maybe they're trailing by like 4 in this example. There must be at least 1 minute left on the clock. Is it just 1 point? Is it just... Oh,
Just
I thought it was more. Okay, so they have to be trailing by 1 point. Okay.
Yeah, has
They
to be at
must
1 point.
be... Okay, they have to be 1 point down. There must be 1 minute left on the clock or less. The trailing team must have at least 2 timeouts. And the trailing team's QB has to let the clock run down. Okay, so I see what you're saying. They will get... There is some type of compensation, basically, in terms of coupons.
Yeah.
Is the gist of this. Is if your team gets screwed by the end of game scenario, can we call it the Iowa? I don't know. We'll call it somebody else. But if that happens, that is some type of coupon compensation for the AD to give out. Then the other one, there's coupon compensation if your player wins Player of the Week. Then they will get some type of compensation as well. I believe it's $25 for offensive or defensive or all-purpose player of the game. And then for the AD of the week, game of the week, you get a $15 coupon for the AD to give out. $10 if you lose the game. I didn't read that part.
Yeah.
So you're saying when UNC loses in overtime, when do we not lose? When do we? Was it?
I just got a 15 and a 10 from Frosty, from 15 for the Florida State win and 10 for the Clemson loss that we were playing, or game of the week.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That I did not realize that you get $10 for losing. I'm sure it's the worst $10 coupon you could ever get. Like, just so what was it, that 4 overtime game earlier this year? They get that, the AD gets $10 as well. That's hilarious. Well, anyhow, those are 2 rule changes. I'll stop talking real quick here. Gunn, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to Travis for the AD reactions to this, and what you're thinking goes into this, basically.
So I'm all for the 1 minute runoff one. I mean, there's nothing really you can do about it with the game. So compensating people for that. I do have a few questions, concerns with the Player of the Week, like just playing devil's advocate. Like, I will never vote for somebody in my conference now. Or
I think that makes it even funnier, actually.
If people will, I would wonder if people will do that. I always vote just who I think the best player is, but
no, I think that makes it better, though, right? And I'll get Travis's opinion here too on as well. There's a strategy to it. You obviously, if there's 2 similar players, I wouldn't vote for somebody who isn't deserving, but Frosty's usually pretty good at putting deserving players on there. But if the choice is whether a Florida State player wins or a Florida player wins now, and I'm on UNC, yeah, I'm voting for that Florida player. And I think that's hilarious. What do you think, Travis?
I think y'all are evil. But I mean, I don't mind. I actually like the rule, or is the runoff. I mean, I've never experienced it on my end. Either being to my favor or against me since I've been in the league. But I've seen it happen, and when you're watching that game and you get to that last minute and you're just like, ugh, crap. And you just, all that excitement of maybe your driver's doing really well and you were probably in field goal range.
And then it just crashes.
and then it does that on you, and it's like, I would imagine it's like your soul being sucked out of you. Like, oh my god, this is so draining. But so I agree. I like that. It's something, because like Mike said, it's not something we can fix. It's just part of the game, and we have to accept it for what it is.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part of it. Is obviously 80s notes there, and any video game you sim on, and this was talked about today too. Even if you went to CFB 26, right? There's going to be stuff like that that you just cannot control. In the case of College Football 26, I think it's like the physics of that game makes it from really weird and really unpredictable stuff. It's a little bit more predictable on the PS3, but it's obviously there's things that you can and can't do. Yeah, I think it's a really good part of the league here for that. I will ask Copper, almost said Cooper. We're talking about that before the show. As a player, obviously you don't have a lot of control over what settings you do or anything like that. But I think as a viewer and as a player, what are your thoughts on these changes?
I know as long as I'm at Notre Dame, this will never happen. But I think it's a really good way to incentivize because if an AI just strikes it, right, or kneels with 1 point, there's nothing you can do about it. So I think it's really good.
So yeah, I think we're in agreement. It's a cool idea. Just as a fun, I pulled this up as well on the website. Just as a fun aside, through week 6, the coupons were given to 2 Miami players, Iowa player, an Alabama player, Oregon player. USC I think had 1, and then on offense, Scally got it in week 6. So Auburn got 1, Florida State, Texas A&M, Tennessee. I mean, there's some teams here that obviously are contenders. There's some teams here that are maybe a little bit farther out of the race. I think it's a good variety of teams. I don't think it's something where someone's going to win every week or something like that.
Are you talking about the player of the week one?
Yeah, for the player of the week.
Game of the week, yeah.
For player of the week, yeah, Miami probably gets the most coupons, right? But I don't think it's that big of a difference. Because I think, there's, again, Tennessee player got 1, and Iowa player gets 1, Oregon gets 1. I'm not trying to diss on these teams, but obviously Miami is maybe the number 1 team. Oklahoma got 1 as well, and they're number 1 team. They are the number 1 team, excuse me. And you compare that to, some of these other teams that are not quite at that level right now, and there's a good variety of it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So I think it's very good. And we'll move on from there on that. And we'll actually get into the first topic, the players of the week. We'll go right into that. Who is going to get those coupons this week, excuse me. So offensive player of the week, and we'll just go right through this. There's Alexa Earl from Oregon in the win over Iowa. There's Johnny Ray Davis, quarterback for Alabama, in the win over Florida. There's Quincy Asher, who might be winning an All-American at his rate right now. 284 yards in the win over Florida. Quarterback Himoteo de Leste, we haven't seen him there before for Oklahoma, in the win over West Virginia. And then who the fuck put this quarterback on there? Cole Mantell, UNC. Why the hell? I was so bad. We won 45-0, and I had 5 combined touchdowns. But that interception, it was like one of the worst interceptions I've thrown this year. Do not
be me, guys.
Please. Oh no, thanks for.
That's not a true statement at all.
Please do not vote for me, guys. I'm not. I'm not voting for me. I'm just letting you know that now. I look. I'd love a coupon.
Considering a vote for you is a vote for Frankie Frederick.
Yes, maybe that's who probably deserved it. I'm sorry. I'm not voting for me. I'll tell you who I am voting for, but I'm not voting for me. I do not deserve to win Player of the Week after that. That interception was terrible. Copper, you know what? I'll let you go first here. Who do you have as your offensive Player of the Week?
I really didn't watch many of these games. I watched the Oregon one. But probably I would probably go Alexa Earl, because she was just really good. Yeah, I watched the entire Oregon game because I made the poster for the running back who broke the Oregon record for rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
So I watched that game just to watch him break the record. But she was really good.
Alrighty, so we'll give you Alexa Earl as your choice. Travis, your choice for offensive player of the week.
I'm gonna go with a wide receiver here, Mr. Quincy Asher, and I think every game. I think Alexa. Everybody on
I
there is
did not.
deserving to be on. I think everybody that's on the list is deserving to be on the list. You know what I mean? But
No.
if I had to look at a game and say, if I took this person off their roster and that person didn't play, how would have changed the game for them? And I absolutely believe that. I think sure Bama doesn't beat Florida.
I do think that. Yeah, Asher had an incredible game. I will disagree. I guess I had more yards than all these quarterbacks. No, not Johnny Radios. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't deserve to be on there. I don't know what's going on. What do you think, Gunn? Who are you voting for?
Well, I'm voting for Cole because
Oh, you are voting for me? I'm not. I'm not.
that's just help it recruiting pitches. The more stuff I can put on my graphics of awards.
I
And,
lost one. He'll be right back.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But if I wasn't voting for you, it would be Quincy. Like anytime a receiver puts up over 200 yards and 2+ touchdowns, they're going to get my vote for the most part.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's see here. I mean, look, I want to vote for my own guy, and I think I should show some team spirit. I just can't in good conscience. No, I'm sorry. I was good. I was not great. As we lost Copper there for a minute, he'll join right back. He said, Quincy Asher's my choice. It was fun. We're talking about it. The curse of the internet strikes again. I said at the beginning of the show too. Not great, but we got it back going. I was talking about Quincy Asher, great game, and you guys didn't hear it because we went about 30 seconds later and it did not catch it. But 4 touchdowns, more than well enough to win. I think he will win. And as we get back, we got Copper back. Right, everything's good, right? No.
Nope.
Good.
Yeah.
It should be good.
We missed a little bit on the recording when it broke because it did break there for a minute on the defensive player of the week. So we don't have to go through it too quickly, but just so that we have that all back together. Again, your defensive player of the week nominees: Veronica Ware, Miami; King Demora at linebacker for FSU; Hayden Jackson, cornerback for FSU; Griffin Moreland for Texas; and Vinny Wellington for UNC. Gunn, I think we talked about this already, but I'll let you quickly recap there. I think you and I are both voting for Vinny Wellington. I think he deserves to win. So why does he deserve to win?
So why does he?
Yeah.
I mean, six tackles, all of them tackles for loss, 5 of them sacks. I think that's one of those kind of once in a career games for a D lineman in this league.
Yeah, it was very good. So, Travis, I believe you said. Oh, go ahead, Copper.
As much as it made me cry to sleep that night.
Yeah. You voted for him too?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So everybody here, Travis, you voted for him too, right? So all 4 of us.
Yeah.
All right. So he probably will win. There's your precious thing there. Your guy winning it. Okay. So again, our votes this week. I think most of us liked Asher or myself somehow for player of the week on offense. On defense, Vinny Wellington, I think unanimous. All-purpose player of the week: Jimbo Hawk for Texas A&M, Theo Marcos for Oregon, Roman Ware for Alabama, David Mitchell for Oklahoma, and Tank Golden for West Virginia. Got a West Virginia guy on there. Look at that. So, all-purpose player of the week. What am I thinking here? I don't know. Travis, I don't think you've gone first. Yeah, I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna go with dude from West Virginia's gonna get it. I mean, he had an all-around good game, and I think that's sort of what you're looking for when you're looking for a all-purpose player of the week.
It's tough. I don't know if I would choose him, but I think he'll get a lot of votes. Copper, do you have a vote here?
Like I said for the offensive player of the week, I really didn't watch majority of these games, but I would probably go Tank Golden, the West Virginia.
Alrighty, and then Gunn, your vote for all-purpose.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Theo. Just did it on the ground, did it through the air, and did it on defense, and interception, touchdown, tackles for literally did just about everything except return kicks. So
See, that was kind of where I'm thinking. Like Theo Marcos.
he's
think-
probably him and Roman Ware are probably the two best like all around players.
Yeah, I thought that was a fantastic performance. I think Marcos Ware might win it just because he's a former Defensive Player of the Year, and Alabama votes well. West Virginia, the guy might win it just because it's rare to see West Virginia guys on there. My vote was for Theo Marcos on this. So, all righty. And then finally, game of the week. This one's going to be pretty quick. I don't think there's going to be a lot of debate. I guess there's a few good games. Miami 37 over Virginia Tech 31. Texas A&M beats Colorado, Colorado beats Texas A&M 34-30. Ohio State beats USC 30-29. Alabama beats Florida, which was a lot closer than it looked, 49-37. And then Alabama beats LSU 28-24. Who you got, Gunn?
I'm refusing to vote for this one. I think it should have been the Notre Dame UNC game strictly because
That's so funny. I was about to say the same
it
thing.
has nothing to do with the gameplay, but
I don't think that counts.
Great
No.
broadcast from Nate and Cade. It deserves game of the week strictly because of that. But
Yeah.
So I agree that it was a very funny broadcast. I'm with you there.
That's stupid.
One of the funniest broadcasts in a while. However, that does not count for this award.
No. I'm going the Ohio State USC game. Like that was just a nail biter the entire time. And
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was a very close game. I'm not denying that. I'm kind of thinking what I would choose. I don't know. Copper, you got a choice here?
Again, I didn't really watch any of these games, but yeah, I'd probably go Ohio State. It was very close.
Well, you should go back and look. You don't have to say that every time. You can just say I liked this game, But all right, so that's good for you. You also got the box scores there too, so luckily you don't have to watch them to get a good understanding. Travis, go ahead.
For me, it come down to two teams, two games. One being the Ohio State USC game. Great game, back and forth. It was a fun game to watch. But the other game, Colorado A&M game, and when I look at the importance, of it's good for Ohio State to win a game of USC, but really, I don't think it mattered a whole lot. Where I think Colorado A&M was probably more of a meaningful game, and so that's where I'm going to lean. Colorado A&M.
You see, I'm kind of with you, actually. I voted the same thing. I voted Colorado, Texas A&M. I think both were great games. I really, honestly, Miami, Virginia Tech was also an awesome game, but kind of like what Gunn said, I can't vote for them because that helps their other team. In my conference.
The ACC is in a bloodbath right now.
Do we really want to give Miami more coupons? I can't vote for them. I thought it was a great game, but I think in reality, my vote either way would have been Colorado A&M. And it's a very important game. Not that Ohio State USC wasn't. Now Ohio State now has a chance to win the Big Ten, but my choice, Texas A&M, Colorado. Good work, Cade. We'll get you on next week. We'll have you talk about it. And that is really it for the player and game of the week. We'll move on from that. Hopefully, internet's holding. Make your prayers now. We'll talk about the playoffs here, and we'll just go conference by conference. Ryan Moreland puts out these great articles each week at the end of the season, where the conference is and what's going on. Obviously, the ACC, Gunn, you and I know this. Even Copper knows this. It's a trash fire. I could have chosen any conference to transfer to, and I go to the one where it's a death match every week. So let's start with the conference title race here. I'm not going to go through the whole article, but I will summarize it real quick. It's pretty simple. If North Carolina beats Virginia Tech next week, and I think we will be the favorites at home, North Carolina will be the ACC champions. If we lose, and then Miami beats Florida State, Miami is the champions. And then if both Miami and North Carolina State lose,
Chaos.
It's just chaos. I think it's 4 or 5 teams have a chance to win the ACC. So we'll keep an eye on that. But that's basically what it is. For the chaos fans in the CFSL, I'm looking at you, Texas A&M. You want to root for both Miami and UNC to lose, basically. And then we have a bunch of playoff scenarios as well that will go into it. Basically, there's a lot up in the air. Basically, and I hate to say this for Copper, everybody except Notre Dame has a chance to make the playoffs on an automatic spot right now.
I'm not even upset about that. I know we haven't performed well in the past 2 years, really ever, since like season 13.
So yeah, I think rest in peace Notre Dame, but Florida State, like we talked about this just on a call between me and Gunn on the coaches call last night. Florida State has a chance to make an automatic playoff spot right now. Clemson does as well. Virginia Tech. You see, I think Virginia Tech would be the favorites, but they also play us, and we're going to be favorites at home. I don't know if it's Clemson or VT would be the favorite right now, betting wise, if we were to bet on this, who makes the playoffs. But I think this should be a fun one. Either way, I think it's going to be the one to watch. Basically, week 8, Miami and UNC, Virginia Tech play each other, and then Clemson, Florida State. Those 2 games.
No, Clemson, you got to put down as a win. They've got Notre Dame. It's Miami.
Jesus, I'm just gonna. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So not like that, but it is what it is.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong schedule.
For
Florida
the
State
playoff
and
pictures,
Miami. Yeah.
Clemson's finishing 3-2 in the ACC, and then it comes down. Tuesday night's going to be incredibly fun to watch because it starts off the early game as Florida State Miami. So that's the first domino that's going to fall if Miami wins, or if Miami loses to Florida State. They're both at 3-2 in the conference, and then it goes to Virginia Tech and North Carolina for the late game on Tuesday. And
that's going to decide
if
it.
we end up losing, that'll be
just chaos.
5 teams at 3-2, and it all comes down to point differential.
Yeah, I think that you're right. So Tuesday night, ACC, tune in. It's a must watch. We'll move on to the Big Ten. And Ryan, I'm just going to quote Ryan here in the article for the Big Ten, and then we'll get to Travis here. Ryan wants a formal complaint. You were supposed to be one of the easy conferences, and now it is chaos. For the conference title race, here's, again, I'm going to summarize. You should read the full article for all the details. If Michigan beats Ohio State, then they win the Big Ten. If Ohio State beats Michigan and Oregon wins, then Oregon, I believe, will be the Big Ten champions. And then if Ohio State wins and USC wins, meaning Oregon loses, Ohio State's a champion. So you have 3 teams, Travis, that could win the Big Ten.
Yeah, 3 teams, and decided on 2 games. It's a tough conference. Got a lot of great teams. See Ohio State, Michigan. Oregon's always been really good. Iowa has done a really good job this season as well. It's a gauntlet, and I can see 4 teams making the playoffs from the Big Ten.
I think that was the debate we were having last week, actually. And I know you guys play Wednesday in a very important game against Iowa. But the question right now is the 3 playoff automatic spots are set for the Big Ten. It's going to be Ohio State, Michigan, and I believe it was, Oregon in some order.
Oregon.
But the question right now is whether you have 4 or 5 teams, I think, in the playoffs via vote-in. Like Iowa, if they beat you guys, it might be both you and Iowa getting in. Though I do think if Penn State wins that game, it will be 4. I think that's going to be such an important game for playoff positioning. That's Wednesday, so keep an eye on that. We'll move over to the Big 12 as well.
I think, I don't have a rooting interest in this, but just for entertainment purposes, I want Ohio State to win so that everybody has to wait the entire rest of the week for Thursday to figure out who's going to win it.
That would be a lot of fun, actually. I think I agree with that. Anything to add, Copper?
No. I didn't even hear what he was talking about.
So we'll move on then to the Big 12. So the conference title race here is pretty simple. Oklahoma, congratulations. You are the Big 12 champions. I am sad. Rest in peace. The chaotic Big 12. It used to be literally the last 2 or 3 years, we've decided the Big 12 champion week 8, and it's usually Texas A&M coming out of nowhere. Not today. So Oklahoma is going to be your Big 12 champion. However, The two other automatic spots, it's probably going to come down to point differential. Colorado, Texas A&M, and Texas, if they all win, they'll be in. Texas and Texas A&M obviously play each other rivalry week, and then Colorado, they play not Nebraska. Who they play? West Virginia. Pretty sure it's West Virginia, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Yes, it is. So they'll play West Virginia. So this one, there's not too much to add here. It's really Texas A&M is going to be one spot, and then Colorado would be probably a heavy favorite to get that second or the third spot. It's really going to come down to which team wins and what that means in terms of playoff positioning. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's
which is why just alluding back to what I said earlier about the game of the week, like that Colorado A&M game was a big game in conference, and it's put the Big 12 in the position that they're in.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think I agree. And then I'll move on to one more, unless anyone has anything to add, because this one I think is my favorite.
It's wild that a one-win team is still technically in the hunt for the automatic playoff spot with West Virginia.
Yeah, but it's such an outside chance because first off, they have to beat Colorado. Chance is a chance. Yeah, okay, you beat Colorado, but I still don't think you get it because you're at negative 134 point differential. Literally, you can't even beat Colorado by 50 and get in the race. I think they are mathematically eliminated because of the 50-point rule. Even if you win by 50, you're still unless I'm missing.
I don't know. I think you can technically win by 56 is the highest. Like if you're at 49 and then I guess 55 because they won't kick the extra point.
No, I think they count the extra point.
Okay.
I think. Okay, we'll pretend the extra point count. Oh, you don't? It's just 55? No. Okay. So West Virginia would have to win by 55 over Colorado. No, they still wouldn't get it. They would still be 20 points behind Colorado on the point differential.
Okay.
I think they're mathematically eliminated, unless I'm misreading that.
Well, unless it comes down to like somebody else breaking the three-way tie, and then it goes to head-to-head if it's just West Virginia versus.
No, they would need Texas A&M to beat Texas by a lot because it is point differential.
Yeah. Okay.
But the problem is, even if Texas A&M mercies Texas, it's a negative 40 point differential to a negative 70 for West Virginia. They're mathematically eliminated from an automatic spot. I don't know. I think Ryan messed that up. Sorry, Ryan. Thanks to the mercy rule, they can't. For the SEC, though, this might be the most interesting race of all because it's the second, maybe third season in a row, where first off, everything's settled. Alabama, Auburn, LSU are your three automatic spots. There's no debate there. However, Iron Bowl, biggest game in the CFSL, and just any college football. I might get some argument for that, but it's true. The winner of the Iron Bowl wins the SEC for the second year in a row, at least. I think that's huge, and I think it's going to come down basically. We'll maybe do a preview of this Iron Bowl. Who do you guys have winning the Iron Bowl, and what do you think? I guess how do you think that's going to go? I'll start with you, Gunn, because I know you got a lot of connections to Alabama.
Well, I can't ever choose Auburn. They could be a 50-point favorite, and I'm still
go fuck yourself.
Going to win that.
I'm transferring. Fun fact: I'm transferring.
If you didn't know, I'm a Alabama grad, so I just in good conscience can't ever.
You could. You could. All right, so you got Alabama. Copper, what about you?
So it's between Auburn, Alabama, and LSU, right? Or is it just Auburn?
No.
And Alabama?
Auburn and Alabama. Who wins the SEC? Who wins that game? That's
Alabama.
Whoever wins that game. Fuck you guys. Shit, I'm gonna have to ban all of you. Travis, go ahead.
All right. I'm sorry, Cole.
You have to ban all of you. They're not even going to be favorites. Like Auburn's going to be the favorite.
I'm going Alabama, and here's why. Here's why. Because I watched both Alabama Florida game and I watched the Auburn Florida game.
I can't believe this. I am flabbergasted.
It was A lot closer. Florida played a lot closer than Florida played Alabama.
I am beside myself. Beard, I believe in you. I'm gonna have to ban everybody. I ban everybody on my show. Apparently, I'm gonna have to ban everybody here. This is mutiny. This is horrible. I cannot believe that nobody chooses. They're like 30-point favorite. Well, not 30. They're probably gonna be like a 10-point favorite. I'm just saying.
I would
There's
say
no way.
6
I
and a half.
can assure you that I can guarantee that it's
Oh
not
yeah, I
a
got.
double-digit favorite.
Okay, so we got the Alabama guy. We got the Alabama guy doing the. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's
Doing the Alabama math.
It's all a formula I have, and I can
No.
look at things now, and I can guarantee that it's not going to be a double-digit spread.
For those who don't know, Copper, I don't know if you know this. Gunn does the sports book betting lines.
Oh.
That's why we're. I will say this: in the history of this matchup, you want to know the last time there was a one-score game between these two teams?
When?
Season 13. These two teams love to kill each other, so it's a very even series. Like I think it's like 8-7 or something like that. Alabama likes to kill Auburn. Auburn likes to kill Alabama. These games are almost never close. So bet the spread. Whoever you think is going to win, bet that they're going to cover because it almost never happens that they don't cover. But it should be a great game. I think it's going to be one of the most important games of the week. Obviously, I do the SEC blog. I'm very excited to, put that on there and talk about it. But it should be must-view territory. It's going to be a de facto championship game. So, I mean, a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun last year. It's going to be a lot of fun this year, whoever you root for. And we'll move on from there. So we got the playoff, got players of the week. We talked a little bit about the offseason. And I guess before we move into the fun part of the show, as we like to call it, Hangout, less than a month away. I thought I would take a minute here to talk about this. Gunn, I don't know this. Are you going to Hangout? Do we know that yet?
I am not. I have 2 kids under 5 years old, so I am not allowed to go do fun things.
I think, no, you'd be fine. You can bring your kids. It's a family-friendly environment, right, Travis?
I'm pretty sure I've seen you passed out with a sock.
Like I said, family-friendly environment. I didn't say that, it's going to be an alcohol-free environment, but it is going to be a family-friendly environment, right, Travis? I don't know. And Copper, I don't think you're going, right?
It will be a family-friendly environment. It's all love.
Yep, definitely. So, Travis, you've been to a bunch of them before. I've been to them, so I guess we'll talk about this. There's a reason we do the ad reads all season. It'll be in New Braunfels, Texas. We're going to have, I know, like, for example, I'm going to be sharing an Airbnb with a few guys. Travis, you have been, were you at the first Hangout? I don't know this.
I've been to the last 2, the one in Tampa and the year before that out in New Braunfels.
Okay. So tell me about your Hangout experience. Like what's fun for you for Hangout?
Putting a face to the name to, look, on Discord, you can read text however you want to interpret it. You don't hear the fluctuation in somebody's voice. You don't get the physical cues in conversation in a text message. So, some people come off, Venom. Venom was one of those people. Wookie used to come off very dick. And
go ahead. Oh, I have a piece to say.
But when you meet them at Hangout, you get to really know who they get to hear those fluctuations in their voices, and you can recognize when they're being sarcastic and when they're joking, and your whole perception of that person changes, and you're like, oh, that dude's actually really cool. You meet everybody and hang out and for a few days and talk about a league that everybody enjoys.
It is such a great experience. Obviously, I've been to a few of them as well. I think this will be my 4th because I went. Yeah, it should be my 4th. We've done 6 or 7 of them so far. It's different this time because I'm going and I'm being inducted to the Hall of Fame this year, so it's a little bit different for me. I guess I have to somewhat stop the drinking, possibly. I'm no longer in college. I don't have the excuse to get blackout drunk, at least not during the ceremony. But I'm kind of joking here. It really is a great time. I think it's such a great experience to meet all the guys, and I like to make fun of Wookie because he can be a jerk sometimes, but I think we had a lot of fun. He, I think, killed me in poker the last time we were both there. It really is just a fun weekend. I think there's going to be a golf tournament this weekend as well nearby. I think Tom, a.k.a. Grin, AD of Florida State, is organizing that. So it really should be a lot of fun. I recommend that everybody who can go there does. And we'll see you either this year, hopefully this year. Oh, my fucking God. At least the recording didn't stop this time.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I still see the red recording up top.
Yeah, it's I don't. As I was saying, I'm really excited for it. This has been the podcast of audio, and that's what I'm calling this, audio issues, no, just issues, or something like that. And we'll have that weird clip we were talking about before as well. Just intro as well. I don't know what is going on tonight. I'm trying to just get through an hour podcast without everything falling apart, and this is what I get. This is the punishment for me. But I will ping Smitty, and we will move on while he's jumping back in. I guess so. We don't have too much more to talk about as well. We'll get to viewer questions in a moment, and we had quite a few as usual this week. I think when I posted them earlier. Go ahead.
Why does Smitty have a Penn State profile picture and then his descriptions "Go Gators"?
Well, because he lives in Ocala. He's a UF fan in real life.
But his brother took the...
Yeah, you can't have two ADs of Florida, unfortunately. Though I think if UCF or USF, we'll ask him when he jumps back on here. I think if USF or UCF was available, he would totally take it. I don't know what you think, Gunn.
I don't really know.
Well, we talked about you would take, and this was actually a conversation we were talking about this earlier this week. If like obviously you're an Alabama fan in real life, and you have UNC. If you had one team you had to choose, we'll do that for the questions. That'll be my question. If one team you had to choose that you could bring in, which I think we've asked that too. How you doing, Travis? You there?
Yeah, I'm back. Power, lightning, thunder, power.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah. Are you? So Copper was asking this. If you had the chance to bring USF or UCF into the league, would you? Just because you're from Ocala?
No. I mean, they're fun programs locally, but I mean, when you're talking like draws of big name schools, they just don't really do it. I wouldn't.
Interesting. Yeah. So, alrighty then. Sorry, no, that was just a question Copper had for you. We'll move on because I do want to get to this before we get to the questions. And now that we got Travis back, the AD application, that's the other thing that came out, and that was actually like right before we started recording. I have it open just because I wanted to check it out. First off, I guess we'll talk about this. Yeah, Gunn and Travis. For you guys, right? Obviously, I think both of you were coaches for a pretty long time before you became an AD. Not at all.
3 seasons.
That's a pretty long time compared to. Remember, I became an AD with 0 seasons of coaching experience. So to me, anything's a long time. But just talk about how important it is. Really, just for our league to have these ADs. I guess Travis, you can start because I think the conversation I'm trying to have here. It's important to develop those guys. I encourage anyone who can apply, who does sim, to apply as well, just to see how they would rank and all that, and if they can get in and help the league. I think he's 1 second for you, so we'll start with Gunn on that.
I mean, yeah, it's always good to get fresh faces. Like sometimes life happens and one of the ADs has to step down, and it's always good to have a good pool of coaches and good AD candidates to pick from. So.
Hey, yeah, it should be a really competitive cycle is what I've heard. I guess I could say this on the podcast too. Well, I'll get back to it. Travis, do you have your thoughts as well?
Yeah, no, I mean, so I started out season 9 as a defensive coordinator at Texas A&M, and then season 10 I got promoted to a head coach at the MAC. So I was basically an AD doing it by himself. And then in season 11 I took over Florida. I think it's important to have those couple seasons under your belt to learn, and then especially if you can get it from a couple different ADs and learn different things. I think that's makes your resume a little bit more stronger.
Yeah, we've talked about this before on this show. Is obviously there's some guys in this league that have a great reputation for teaching the new ADs, and they'll go into the quote unquote trees. Grin's a big one. I think Adam to an extent is one. If you count the Houston Freeman tree, Houston Freeman tree. George Yost is another one that comes to mind. I think there's some great minds in this league, and it's such a competitive. That's what makes it great. Is there's such a competitive balance to this league. There's multiple ways to win and build rosters nowadays. I think that's one of the best parts of this league. So, getting that coaching experience. If you have the experience, I do encourage you to apply. It is a lot of fun being an AD, even when you're me and you lost more than you won. It was still a great time to build that community. So I encourage everyone who can do it. I'm looking over the questions. Some of these I can't like I don't think Mike would like it if I started telling things. But there's some actually like the AD application as well. I think it's to be competitive because this is one of the more in-depth applications that he's put out. Like I'm not going to spoil the questions, but some of these questions on here are like some pretty advanced coaching questions, and I think they're going to do that this year because I think there is a lot of good applicants, and it's just going to be a question of who's going to do what and how they're going to approach these problems. Like there's a lot of scheme questions on here, which I have not seen before, and I think that's really interesting.
They still have the Tink question on there.
Probably. Which one is that? Is that the one where it's like I promise not to break the rules or something like that?
Let's see. No, they don't have it on there anymore. No, it was along the lines of one of your coaches says he wants to pay a player. What do you do in that situation?
Yeah, I do remember that. That might have been when because I used to be on the review board and helped Mike interview guys. Like I do remember that being on there. I guess he took it off. Yeah, don't do that, guys. Don't pay other players. I don't think this goes without saying. We do not endorse breaking CFSL rules and getting yourself banned.
That is what will happen in a second.
Yeah. All right. So good luck to all the ADs. I think we had a good conversation on that too. We'll move over to the viewer questions. Copper, you're on the show. You can't ask a question, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, you can't. You can. I thought
do whatever you want.
You didn't have to. You could just ask the question. You don't have to put in the form. No, I don't. So we'll go start with your question. No, you just want us to ask about. You wanted to talk about Notre Dame. Like you start the show. You spend the entire show saying how you guys suck, and then you want us to just rag on you more. Yeah. How would you like to talk about Notre Dame? Okay. Sorry, guys. You're 0-7, and you nearly got mercied by a UNC team that had an idiot at quarterback. I'm sorry, guys. Like I don't even.
I mean, I just think it's credit to the AD that they're a top 5.
Go fuck yourself. I know I'm really going to ban you. You're advertising for yourself, and you are choosing Alabama over Auburn. I can't have this. Why did I go to this school? Travis, that's the question I want to ask you. Why did I do this to myself? Please help me. Any other school, man. Any other school.
Well, it's probably because we didn't come for you.
Yeah. You should. What is it? 2 weeks after I signed or whatever. You reached out. I don't know if I should say it on the podcast. Now I have.
I didn't reach out to you.
You came to.
No, it was your brother. Sorry, excuse me. It was Florida that reached out.
So y'all could outnumber me.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. For an Alabama fan, you got a lot of Auburn fans on your team. You do know that, right, Gunn?
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this many times. Yeah, that's my answer to your question, Copper. What the fuck? This is a good one from Babineau, and it's only good because I think it's hilarious. How many 8-year-olds do you think you could take in a fight at the same time? This is from Babineau. And I think you have to knock them out. We're not trying to kill anybody here. So how many 8-year-olds do you think you could take at once?
Bare hands?
Yeah, bare hands. No one has any weapons.
And where is this fight taking place?
Playground.
Okay.
Okay, what state?
You can choose the state. And Daniel Gunn, you are a parent, so I'm going to let you do this. And Travis, I know you're a parent, so you get to start this.
So with the playground in mind, I think I'd say probably an 8-year-old. Like I've got a 4-year-old. Double that. I'd say about 50, because all you got to do is
50.
get on one of those bridges, and then you just back and forth just start drop kick because they can't all come at you at once. You got to funnel them in like 300. And, start
That's
back
a
and
beautiful
forth to
answer.
one side, back to the other side, and they can't
Oh,
come
no.
at you more than 2 at a time. Eventually, I'm gonna get tired, so I think 75 is the number.
I think you're vastly overestimating the ferocity of an 8-year-old, but then again, I'm not a parent, so I don't know. Travis, you have multiple children. What's your
Yes,
answer?
yes. That's 3 of my own and then 3 more. Dude, I'm with Gunn. I'm probably gonna say like 100, man. Because that first kid that comes up, I'm grabbing him by the ankles and I'm playing helicopter.
Do you guys know? Oh my god, 100 children.
I
Dude,
mean, 8 is not like they are not advanced people yet at all. Like
their ability to work together is very limited.
yeah. It's,
Yeah, but you give them a common goal. Like you promise them Skittles if they beat you up. Like I think you're in trouble, guys.
Did you ever play helicopter when you were a kid?
I'm sure I did, but that's not the point, guys. Like, oh
yeah.
my god.
No, but
I
I
mean-
think if you can funnel them, if you can get them funneled in, that's why you got to get on one of the little bridges, and they can't come. The most you're going to have to face it once is 4, and I can take 4 8-year-olds at a time.
The parents in this group I thought would have much more rational answers. Copper, what's your answer?
Well, seeing as how the parents said 75 to 100, I think I could take like 110. They're tiny people.
Yeah, like 8 is not advanced.
At least Copper, you're like a younger guy. At least I could see that. But I think you guys are crazy. I think it'd be like 20. I think
35.
I mean,
I'm not old.
I'm 41, but you got to think at 8, they're what, 40 pounds?
Yeah, like this. It's not.
I don't
Especially
know.
on a playground.
Yeah,
Now,
dude.
you start getting into double-digit age, like then it starts to get like 10-year-old. There's a huge difference between
Yeah.
10-year-old.
I'll trust you
Yeah.
guys. I think it'd be. I think the number would be much lower. I don't think so. I think this is one of the funniest questions we've ever asked. Though, so I'm going to thank Babino in chat right now.
Yeah.
I don't even think Babino knows you guys are parents, and he asked that. All right. So the next question comes from Not Horns, aka the Other Horns. He's a recruiting coordinator from Michigan. Who wins the Big Ten, and which has been the most fun conference to watch this year? We'll start with the who wins the Big Ten. We've kind of already said that. However, I'm going to choose Ohio State specifically because the Michigan guy asked it. That's my pick to win the Big Ten. Copper, who do you think wins the Big Ten?
I think Ohio.
I would say just because Michigan guy asked it, right? That's the answer. What do you think, Gunn?
I'm trying to look.
And outside of Travis, this is not our conference. I don't know how much familiarity you have with it either.
So, all right, Ohio State beats Michigan, and Oregon beats USC. I think Oregon's going to win it.
Oh, that's an interesting answer. All right, Travis, you're actually in the conference. So you probably have a much better answer than all of us. Who do you think wins the Big Ten?
I'm gonna go with Michigan on this one. I think they got with the W over Ohio State, and just go ahead and solidify it. But I do see a scenario where Oregon wins it. But Michigan for now.
Yeah, and I think my real answer is Michigan, but for
No. You said Oregon, so that's
for seeding purposes, since we blew the doors off of Oregon, if they ended up being a conference champion, that helps us in our seeding.
It does, yeah. We'll see. So we'll answer the second part of it. The most fun conference to watch. I might be a little biased here, but I feel Gun. At least you're going to agree with me on this. It's been a complete tire fire, this conference.
Yeah.
I get here for one season. I'm very ready to leave this conference.
I've been here
still
for 2
gives me nightmares.
seasons. I've been here for 2 seasons and still cry myself to sleep.
Even that's the funny part. Is like Notre Dame is obviously the worst team in this conference, and yet they had a few games this year where they scared some people. Like I don't even know. Travis, your favorite conference to watch, is it the ACC, or you got a better answer?
I mean, the ACC is fun to watch, but I've always enjoyed watching games where there's really a good balance of things, and like, the SEC is just very heavy. Um, and I think the ACC had pretty good balance, but I like the Big 12. They're fun to
I will
watch.
say,
Most of those games are always.
I will say the Big 12, I think in terms of star players, they got Himateo, they got Taylor James, they got even Archer for Nebraska, who's been very good this year too. I think in terms of star players, the Big 12 has a sneaky argument for being one of the most fun to watch, even if the games are a little closer, or a little bit crazier in the ACC. So I like that answer too, actually. Okay. And then thank you, Not Horns from Michigan, for the question. The last one, and this is a very good one, and I'm going to say the caveat is you cannot choose your own team. Not that I think you would for this question.
Yeah, it's very unlikely that I'll choose my own team.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, sorry, buddy. Travis DH from Clemson, the Clemson halfback who terrorized us, Gunn. He
will
asks,
terrorize me next week.
Yeah, you're going to have some fun with that. He's really, really good. Which team, and I'm not going to say in each conference, I'm going to have each of you guys pick one team that has surprised you the most this season, as in you did not think this team was going to be anywhere, and then now all of a sudden, holy crap, look how good they are. They don't have to be a playoff team, but they have to be way better, way exceeded expectations. And you guys can choose the same team if you want, because I think I have an answer that a lot of people will choose. So
and
one
for the
team,
record, he did not terrorize us. He had 28 yards against us.
Did he?
Yeah.
Who was the guy that had like 200 yards against us?
Nobody. We're only giving up like 60 rushing yards per game.
Oh, I'm thinking of William Owens, the wide receiver. That's fun.
Yeah.
The guy had a okay. Never mind. Freaking Clemson, man, gives me nightmares. Daniel, the team that surprised and/or exceeded expectations way beyond what you thought this season.
I mean, I think it's pretty easy. It's Nebraska's my answer. It's between Nebraska and Clemson. I think for the layman watcher, people would say Clemson, but being in the SEC and having to play them every year, like Wetzel knows what he's doing, and they've been building.
You're in the SEC, you said?
ACC. But Nebraska, like, as part of my making the sports books, like, talent-wise, they are the worst team in the league, and they're competing for, like, they're still in the hunt to – or no, yeah, they're still in the hunt.
Yeah, they're still in the hunt. Yeah, I mean, they faded down the stretch, but I think Nebraska is the easy answer here of, like, what team exceeded expectations. And when this question came up earlier, that also was an answer. They faded a little bit the last few weeks, but I think they still might be the answer. Travis, your choice, team that exceeded expectations, surprised you this season?
I mean, yeah, I think everybody is probably going to give a nod towards Nebraska for what they did. And not so much Clemson. I like your argument, right? Where maybe the common casual CFSLer might be like, oh, Clemson, they haven't been relevant in several seasons, now they're doing really, really well.
Yeah.
And that's something we've seen that progression with Wetzel. Last season to this, and there's been progression for him, and so it's not really surprising. I sort of expected it from him, to be honest. The team, though, is just because the sheer amount of players had to go and get that they lost from last season is Auburn. Auburn's done a phenomenal job. They won this offseason needing like 15. They had like 15 scholarships to divvy out, and somebody who's been in that situation, I understand wholeheartedly how difficult that is. And to be sitting there, basically in the Iron Bowl, you are the SEC champs. So
Yeah, I think what he's done is phenomenal for sure.
yeah.
And Copper, you got a team you think exceeded expectations as well?
I didn't even. Last season I didn't even know Nebraska was a team.
No, they're new this year.
Okay.
That's why. Yeah, they're
I was like,
expansion.
okay, yeah. So probably Nebraska coming like a new team, doing. It's not much compared to my team, but like, it's way better compared to what my team's been able to pull off.
I think Nebraska coming in, Nebraska and Iowa are the expansion teams this year. Iowa had a really, really good recruiting class. I think people, if you told them before the season they're going to end up 3-5 or 4-4, that is quite literally what almost everybody I talked to before the season thought they would end up at. Nebraska, I think on a talent wise, they are the worst team talent wise right now still, and most people had them at 0-8 or 1-7. So I will not choose Nebraska just because everyone else seems to be choosing them. But what a job! I even nominated him, I think, in the article that I wrote for possibly being 80 of the year material because of what that accomplishment is. I really think it was a great team. I think if they miss the playoffs, he won't get it, but we will shout out Eugene, frequent guest on the show. I think he did awesome. So my choice, I like the Auburn choice. I'm going to stay in the SEC, Travis. So I will say Penn State, very good season for you guys too. I think good rebound. LSU, 4-3, going into the SEC, which is traditionally a really big, really big Thunderdome, really hard to win in the SEC. And LSU has been doing great. Wookie's obviously a very accomplished AD, multiple national champion. But LSU coming in, kicking butt, they probably, well, actually, they will be the third automatic team. I guess it comes down to whether they're 4-4 or 5-3. But if before the season told me that LSU would be 5-3, I don't know if I would have thought that. So I think he's done a great job coming over the SEC. Welcome back to the SEC, LSU. You are clearly SEC material. So I thought that was great showing from them this season too. So that is about it, I think, for the questions. And that was Travis DH from Clemson for that recruit. Excuse me, for that question. And so I think that's about it. We will, at the end of each podcast, I like to give, Copper, you don't know this, I like to give each person 30 seconds to praise their team or just talk about whatever they want. They get 30 seconds, basically. If you don't want to talk about Notre Dame, it's clear that you have some bad blood. You can just talk about your player, I guess. I guess I'll let you go first, Copper. It has to be 30 seconds. I do time it.
Okay.
Talk about whatever you want, I guess. Go ahead.
There's not really much to talk about Notre Dame. We're a dumpster fire actively. I feel like my player has reached his full potential at Notre Dame. So I personally think that I'm doing all I can, but I really can't do much with the rest of my defense or my offense when I'm on the field like 75% of the time.
Alrighty. That is the first time, by the way, in Cole Mantell Show history where I say, talk about your team positively, and it's called a dumpster fire. I will salute you, I guess. Daniel, I'll give you 30 seconds. Is UNC a dumpster fire?
We are not a dumpster fire, but I just want to take the time. We're going into week 8, last game at home, just to shout out to all the seniors on the squad and thank them for everything they've done, and just excited about getting to take on the Hokies and fight for the ACC title. So we win this game, we win the title. So
Let's
go
do
Heels,
it.
and let's get it done.
I won't cheer for Alabama like you will, but I will cheer for UNC. Oh, you don't need to do that. There is a record. It says it on the software there for 30 seconds.
Yeah,
like
I'm old school.
All right. Well, Travis, I'll save the best for last. Penn State gave me a heart attack and a half last year when we played you guys. I know you guys got a playoff race here to win. Talk about your team for 30 seconds.
Like Gunn said, I definitely got to shout out the 3 seniors that are playing for Penn State in their last home game. Shooter Swift, Johnny Wang, and Bud Bolden. 0-8 to 5-3. Couldn't be happier. Couldn't be proud of these guys, and the buy-in that they've bought and their dedication to the team is just phenomenal. And love having them. So we'll see somebody in the playoffs.
We'll see. I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to thank your crickets back there as well. They got pretty loud as the sun went down. It was not bad when we started, but I think we'll let them go to sleep. And I think it's been a great show, guys. So thank you again for coming on. We got 3 guys, 1 new guy, and then 2 guys we haven't seen in a while. So glad to have all of you on. That's the word I'm looking for. I'd like to thank Copperlotus, linebacker for Notre Dame. I'd like to thank Daniel Gunn, AD of UNC. I'd like to thank Travis Smith, a.k.a. Smitty, the AD of Penn State. This has been Podcast 41. We will see you guys next week. Playoffs are right around the corner. See you guys around.
Thank you, Cole.
Yeah.